Ah, there you are. How you doing? Hello, this is Dave Johnson with a bit of Telly Talk for Friday, the 12th of February 2021. Channel 5 seem to be very good at documentaries that get people talking. If you missed the two-parter about the disappearance of Shannon Matthews this week, it's on My5, the media player. It's sparked an awful lot of discussion online and in the papers. People have been reliving the story. If you remember, Shannon Matthews, who was 9 at the time, went, supposedly missing back in 2008. But all the time, she was hidden inside a hollow divan bed. She'd actually been drugged by her own mother, who'd hidden her in there, and the bed was at a friend's house. The whole thing was a scam to try and make money. Karen Matthews was hoping there would be some reward money made available, and then Shannon would be miraculously found. You get the idea. And if you listen very carefully to this clip of Karen Matthews being interviewed by a detective, then you'll hear her refer to Shannon being in a nice, warm environment. Bear in mind that she said she'd got no idea as to where she might have gone, and it's stuff like this that made the police start thinking that it might be a setup.
She's out there somewhere in a nice, warm environment, but 31's got her. He's not coming forward, which that's what we'd like, really.
It's an almost unbelievable story. I mean, I'm not a parent, but to mums and dads who experienced that at the time, blimey, when you think about your own kids, how could somebody do something like that to their own daughter? Sometimes it is difficult to watch, but it is fascinating nonetheless. It's the disappearance of Shannon Matthews, and it's available now on My5. Let me ask you, do you ever watch The One Show? I mean, it's been on for years and years, The One Show, but the thing is, I still don't think it really knows what it is. It's got echoes of Nationwide. You've got educational film reports in there, like we used to get on Blue Peter. They've even shoehorned Watchdog in there now. But the thing that always gets me is how they cut away from their guests. And then they'll go to something completely inappropriate and sometimes quite bizarre. And they get some really good A-listers on there. They do get some big stars on The One Show. So you might get something along the lines of, I'll just make something up, all right? You might get something along the lines of, well, we'll talk more with Helen Mirren in just a moment, but first, here's Mike Dilger to tell us about one-eyed, transparent crayfish. And you think, what? They've not actually done that. It's only an example of what might happen. I wonder how the guests feel. John Bon Jovi, sorry to cut you off, but we need to go live to a teddy bear's picnic in Frodsham. That kind of thing. Don't get me wrong, I'm not having a go at Alex Jones. I adore Alex Jones. She's great. She's a really good interviewer. And a lot of the film reports are actually really good as well. But the whole thing is a bit like a pizza with too many toppings. The One Show, Monday to Friday, 7 o'clock on BBC One, if you're not following Emmerdale on ITV, of course. Anyway, speaking of pizzas, could you make one from scratch? Rather than just take it out of the box. I am not a great cook, I've got to be honest, I'm not very good, but I do like the cookery shows. And BBC One's Celebrity Best Home Cook is absolutely addictive. It's a shame that Ed Byrne has gone because he was really funny, but the goddess, Mary Berry, comes out with all the best lines.
The potatoes are a bit of a disaster, and for them what likes a very spicy sauce, they've got one. Are you listening?
Yeah, I'm listening, Mary, I'm listening. Anything you say. You're Mary Berry. You wouldn't argue with Mary Berry, would you? Have you been watching Death in Paradise? It's been a very, very good series. Finishes next Friday on BBC One, but they're all on the iPlayer. Ralph Little has really settled into his new role, and I'm pleased about that because it must have taken forever to shake off the shackles of being Anthony the teenager in the royal family. Oh, and just before I go, those of a certain age might be familiar with Len Deighton's The Ipcress File, which is being re-dramatised for ITV. Set in the 60s, essentially it's a spy drama, but what's really going to bump up the viewing figures is the fact that it stars Tom Hollander. Tom Hollander! Women will be swooning the length and breadth of the UK. And probably so will I. Tom, by the way, recently auctioned off his underpants for charity, so let's hope they're not filming it this week while it's really cold. Hey, listen, I've got to go. Thanks for listening. Friday afternoon, BBC Radio Stoke, Telly Talk, me and you and Liz Ellis. And I'll see you on here next week.